Hey guys, what's up? Alex here. Welcome to F1 2017 career mode. I've been waiting for this day for a very long time and excited to finally get started here today. We're going to be racing with the Williams team here today. It's a bit of a midfield team. I know it's the fourth best team on the grid, but it's going to be a bit more of a challenge than that this season because the chassis on this car is not too good whatsoever. You can see I'm starting off on 88 AI difficulty level. I'll hopefully improve that as the season goes on. But before we jump into the gameplay, guys, I want to announce a giveaway to you guys. So, I want to give away a copy of F1 2017 on any console of your choice. All you need to do is subscribe to this channel right here, drop a like on the video, and stay tuned for the rest of this career mode. And there will be a winner announced as soon as I hit 50,000 subscribers on this channel. So that's all you need to do is just drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also just leave a comment down there telling me your favourite driver on F1 2017, who your favourite driver on the grid currently is. Anyway, let's jump into this career mode. It's going to be an exciting one.
Yes, and I respect that. But my client has a championship to contest. So if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, is a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal. I'm also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
Cheers, mate. Right, ready for the first race of the season. Australia, of course, is the opening race this season, as it has been for the last few. Now, excited for this one, but also a little bit apprehensive because Australia is not one of my favourite tracks. It's probably one of my bogey tracks, you'd say, as well. So it is always a little bit tough for me to start the season there because I'm like, not that good there. So it's going to be a tough one to grab the points we probably need. But there's the new contract. All good stuff so far. But we do know in the Williams team, we start off with a pretty decent car. But I think the rate of development of other teams means we probably will end up probably like the 6th best car of the season. If it goes like by real life standards at least. So it'll be an interesting season ahead. Of course, Williams, the 4th best team right now. Here's some of the vehicle management stuff. Of course, no sessions run yet, so we've got loads of reliability right now. We've got the Mercedes power plant in the back of the car as well, so you'd hope it's going to be a good season for us. We're hopefully not going to have too many reliability failures. Anyway, we're in the pit box here, getting ready for the Australian Grand Prix first practice session.
Morning, Jeff here. I'm looking forward to working with you as your race engineer. Hope you've had a good night's sleep, because we've got a lot of work to do today to prep for the season ahead. We're ready to fire up the car, so why not head out and get a few laps under your belt?
So I decided to jump into the track acclimatization session first time out. So it's very important to collect as many resource points as possible in this game. You guys know that if you played F1 2016, the resource points will help you develop your car over the season. And this year, the teams around you definitely develop a lot more intense pace. So whilst in 2016 it was quite easy to get to the best car on the grid, 2017 they're going to keep you on your toes, and you can't even really take a Williams from what 4th best car on the grid to the best car on the grid in the first couple of seasons, because the AI, you know, they develop at a very solid pace as well. So that means that you're most likely not going to be, you know, going from worst car to best car anytime soon. It's going to take like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 seasons, the guys over at Codemaster said. But who knows, once you get into the game, maybe you're a little bit better than they expected and you might be able to develop your car even quicker. But those resource points are really vital if you want to make sure you develop your car over the season here. So not my best lap in the world. You can see I'm just trying to keep it on the track, going through these gates here. And I must announce to you guys what assist I'm using as well. You saw I started off on 88 difficulty, nearly master level, but also my difficulty level in terms of assists has gone up. So I decided to set myself a new challenge for 2017. I normally start off the games with, well, I think full traction control, normally with anti-lock brakes turned on. But I decided to switch it up this this season and sort of just push myself a bit. So I'm starting off with no ABS on the tool and starting off with medium traction control. And with these cars, with all the power underneath them, they are quite tricky to drive with the assists off. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge for me. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy me seeing a bit more on the edge, if that's even a thing. I normally am pushing quite hard and normally getting a little bit sideways, but let's see how this lap is. Around the last couple of corners, hit that DRS zone, perfect stuff. Up to the start-finish line. That's going to be the track acclimatization thing sorted. We could go around again and try and get some more resource points. I decided not to. But next up, we're going to try the qualifying sim one. So this is important as well. Similar sorts of resource points available here. We're going to try and set the best lap time possible here. This is towards the end of the lap here. I don't want to show you guys the full lap because I thought you probably want me to get to the race as quickly as possible here. But I do want to show you guys all of this sort of stuff in the first episode. Of course, leave your comments down below as well about what sort of things you want to see in this career mode. Which things do you not want to see? Do you want to see the classic car invitational events? I'm assuming most of you guys will, but do you guys want to see free practice, all of that, or would you rather me just put qualifying and the race in these episodes? This one's quite a long episode. I don't think every episode's going to be quite this long here because we're going to generally just do qualifying and the race, I think, unless you guys see something really important in practice. But up for you guys to leave in the comment section. This career mode's going to be focused around what you guys want, and I'll try and follow it as best as possible. So there we go, we did that lap and I thought that's enough practicing for me. Finishing the session there in P8, not that far off my teammate Lance Stroll, but he did his time on super soft tyres. I did mine on ultra soft tyres, meaning the qualifying section is probably going to be quite interesting.
Hey, looks like you've got a bit of rivalry going on out there. This is good. Gets people talking about you. Just make sure you outperform them, okay?
I've literally been his teammate for like 2 seconds. I'm already his rival. Calm down, lads. I need to have a bit of time by myself. But anyway, Lance Stroll is my rival right now. You can see him just right in front of us talking to David Croft. I mean, he's not the most social chap. He's not speaking to me, is he? That's a bit unfair. But whatever. Let's get to the qualifying session here in Australia. And weirdly, my first lap was actually my best lap. I mean, I know that doesn't normally make any sense because you normally get quicker as the session goes on. But I think I put a pretty solid first lap time in here, and then, I don't know, it just sort of went to pieces after it, which isn't the greatest thing in the world. I also want to mention my helmet design here. I mean, it looked a lot cooler when I was designing it in the menus. I mean, for some reason, the top of the helmet looked nearly identical to Lance Stroll's helmet, which I'm like, great. Now you guys are going to think I'm like trying to copy Lance Stroll, but at the end of the day, it was a really cool design in the menus, but from the top down view, it doesn't look too great, or the T-cam view I should say. Now on the brakes, we're hitting the right-hander quite well there, hitting the braking point just about right. It's quite hard with all the shadows, with all the low sun. It really is quite tough to actually get the car placed on the right part of the track, and making sure you don't lock up those brakes, quite vital here. Well, a double attempt at the turning now would have lost me a couple of tenths maybe of a second there, so already losing a little bit of time on this lap here, hitting the brakes into the right-hander, getting way too early on the brakes there, but that was the one I was struggling with in terms of braking distance. I couldn't really tell where to brake to that corner, so I just about got it right there, but unfortunately it would have lost us a couple of tenths once again. The fast left-right, done a pretty good job through there. Now flying down into the last third of this lap here. Are we going to be able to put a lap time in good enough to get ourselves right at the top here? But now Hulkenberg's currently leading the session. We're currently in the bottom position, obviously, because we haven't done a lap time. So now through the last couple of corners, we're catching up to the back here. I think, is that a Force India? You can't really tell. A little bit sideways through the penultimate corner. Now to the last corner, and the DRS right there, and up to the start-finish line. What's it going to be? Is it going to be good enough to go fastest right now? Yes, it is, ahead of Hulkenberg, so that's a pretty good time for me right now. And we've gone to our third attempt. You can see what I mean about not improving, so I try and improve here. Brake a bit too late, completely messed up the corner, then just put a bit too much power and exit. So nonetheless, there is the end of the qualifying session there. We qualify just behind Lance Stroll there, so a little bit gutting to finish behind the team there, meaning obviously I'm going to lose the battle between us. The rivalry between us is going to go in his favour for now, but it's the way it goes, and hopefully when it comes to race day we'll be able to overtake Lance Stroll at the start. We'll see, but there we go. Awesome qualifying session, both Williams in the top 8. I think that's exactly what they would have wanted, and more resource points, exactly what the team needed. More importantly, myself, to be fair. So you can see there how close it was between us, to be fair. Thousandths of a second separated in this first sector. Second and third sector, to be fair, Lance Stroll definitely had a bit more advantage on me, but that first sector, quite annoying. But anyway, you saw there the teams, who is interested in me, who is not interested in me. I think I did a pretty good job of myself there to show I'm maybe, you know, doing a good job for this car. But then with Lance Stroll as your teammate, it's a tough one because he's in his rookie season as well. But nonetheless, we jumped to race day. Of course, F1 2017 has some official F1 cutscenes, which unfortunately means I do have to cut those out. Otherwise, there's quite a high likelihood I'm going to get copyright claimed. So, first race of the season here. The hype and the tension is building. Look to the lights at the top of your screen here for the first race of this season. The lights are out and away we go. A bit of a mediocre start, to be fair. Stroll gets a better start. So does Verstappen and Ricciardo too. I couldn't really have asked for any worse conditions here in my first race in Formula 1. Heading down to the first corner. Quite a lot of brake locking now. We get past Stroll. I should say we're side by side with Lance Stroll. So he gets better traction on exit. And he goes back through into P7. It's basically how it started here in the first lap of the race. But Lance Stroll going for an ambitious move down the inside of Max Verstappen on this first lap of the race, and Daniel Ricciardo as well, but he can't get quite past Ricciardo. But I think that's a great overtake there from Lance Stroll. Let's have a look at the replay of the start here. Rain is pouring down here in Australia, and unfortunately for us, we don't get the best of starts there. Stroll manages to keep ahead of us there, and also we don't really gain any positions and time. If anything, we lose a bit of time because we're locking up and all that sort of stuff. So a little bit gutting there to lose that time here on the exit of this corner here, but it's the way it goes. Hopefully there'll be opportunities as the race goes on to try and work my way up the order and see whether I can get past these guys. The problem is we're not in a car with a huge amount of downforce, meaning in these sorts of conditions we are going to struggle. Anyway, back on board. Verstappen's going very slowly through there. We just about break in time to not lose any of our front wing there, but that could have been a lot worse. But no, we've made a mistake onto the grass, and Romain Grosjean has gone through into P8 there on this first lap of the race there. So that is really annoying for me there. I was trying to put the pressure on Verstappen ahead, and a bit too much pressure on myself. I've ended up in the grass and losing a position to Grosjean, with Hulkenberg now right behind me there. Of course, that was very annoying at the time there. It's the way it goes in Formula 1. You can push a bit too hard and lose the position instead of gaining it. But now we've got a bit of a task on our hands to get past Grosjean. Can he keep up with the battle between Stroll, Ricciardo and Verstappen? That's going to be an interesting one to see. How good is the Haas car at the start of this season? We've got Nico Hulkenberg just behind us as well, so an interesting turn of events. If we go to lap number 3 here, you can see we're actually really struggling to keep up with Romain Grosjean in that Haas car. He's doing a really superb job. And to be fair, we're starting to get a bit of a train behind us. I mean, I think Hulkenberg in his Renault is doing a solid job. And there's a massive queue basically down to the last place behind him. So we're a bit of a cork in the bottle right now for the rest of the guys. But by lap number 4, I've started to put in some solid sector times and started to catch this group ahead. Stroll, of course, leading this little group there. Verstappen is still trapped behind him, and Grosjean currently there in P8. So it's going to be very tough for Verstappen to get past Stroll, because Stroll can just sort of ease away in the straights, whilst Verstappen's probably quicker in the corners. In these sort of conditions, it's very tough to take a different line and get past. But then again, we're talking about Max Verstappen. If you guys remember back to the Brazilian Grand Prix last year, you guys will remember how incredible Max Verstappen was in those wet weather conditions. I think that was more intermediate conditions in that race, but still, you think that he would have the traits on board with him in this career mode as well for him to possibly get past Stroll here. You can see his teammate is running up the road there. Ricciardo is doing a really good job to keep up with the main two teams there, whilst I think Raikkonen and Vettel, Hamilton and Bottas all battling over the victory. I think Ricciardo's a couple of seconds off them, but he's quite close to them if you look down the mini-map. But to be fair, he's probably closer to 4th place than 4th place is to 3rd, if the mini-map is anything to go by. But we're starting to put the pressure on Romain Grosjean here, because he's the person we need to get past here. I think if we get past him, we can have a real shot at Verstappen, because we should be able to get past him in a straight line if Stroll is slowing him up in the corners here. So right onto the back of Romain Grosjean here. Is the overtake going to be done here? Not really, with a good run out the corner, but unfortunately for us, we make a mistake. Oh my goodness, Grosjean very slow through that corner. Luckily we didn't have any front wing damage there. I don't have it on simulation settings right now. I think I just have it on the normal one. So hopefully we'll keep that going here. And another lockup. We are struggling. The pressure's on to try and get past Grosjean. We're starting to make silly mistakes here. Are we going to have to put the pressure onto these last couple of corners? It's not really an overtaking opportunity. Down to turn 1 normally would, but in these sort of conditions, it's so tough to get a good round the last corner. I don't think you could really overtake into turn 1 because you just end up so far back through here. You're not really ever close enough. I think that's what Max Verstappen's finding. It's just so tough to overtake in these conditions today. Also, we need to mention the fuel here because we've burnt through quite a bit of the excess here. We started with +1 lap, and we're having to run in lean fuel mix here for a little bit here. Otherwise, we're not going to get to the end of the race, so it's going to be a tough one mixing between lean and standard for the rest of this race. We've got a good run on Romain Grosjean down the inside, a bit of locking up with the brakes. We're trying to go side by side. Grosjean leaving me the room. I've left him the room as well, but oh, Grosjean, I don't know really what happened there. A very strange turn of events and Grosjean's back through, so I was trying to go past Grosjean here. I sort of felt he wasn't turning into the corner. I think it's because it was a bit of a blind spot for me, obviously, because I couldn't see where his car was. For me, it didn't look like he was turning into the corner, and that's just because I couldn't really see where the apex was. So Grosjean just didn't really... Well, he just went through the normal racing line, really, but just at a lot slower pace because I was side by side with him here. So a bit annoying there. And another mistake, locking up on the brakes. It isn't one of those sort of things you pick up immediately, of course. Anti-lock brakes are quite a tricky thing to learn, and, well, there we go. There's quite a lot of evidence in this race that I'm not learning quite that quickly here. But hopefully when the next couple of races come, and hopefully they're dry, I'll be able to learn a little bit quicker here. But I couldn't really have imagined any worse conditions for my first race with all these assists off, because I'm struggling. I'm really struggling here to keep up, or just keep a consistent pace here. I suppose that's the most notable thing, because I've got the pace, it's just not very consistent because I keep looking at my brakes and running wide. Now Romain Grosjean, quite close to him here. Can we get an overtake him? I think we're actually close enough for an overtake here on Romain Grosjean. He's not that quick out that corner. From one side to the next, down the inside of Romain Grosjean. A lovely little overtake there just before we go into the turn there. So awesome little overtake there on Romain Grosjean. He didn't really put up much of a fight to that one. We go down the inside. Lovely stuff. I'm not going to lie, I'm quite surprised we got that overtake done so simply there. Grosjean didn't really defend the inside line considering he had such a bad run out of the corner into the fast left-hander, then the right-hander. Just pretty good stuff, to be perfectly honest, and a bit of a corner cut there, to be fair. I'm not going to edit that out. That's just me making a mistake there after going too fast into the first left-hander, meaning I couldn't really turn into the next right-hander without running a bit wide. So, a bit unfortunate, but at lap number 11, though, we're right into the back of Max Verstappen here. Still locking up our brakes here, but we're definitely doing a solid job of keeping up with these guys here. And hopefully, as the season goes on, I'll get a bit better at the game, of course, and it'll mean that I can up the difficulty. So, currently now on 88%, it goes up to, obviously 100 is what's supposed to be the normal, but then 110 is like the extreme max level ultimate AI. So you guys can go up there if you're ultra quick, but for me, I'm starting off on 88% and hopefully going to work my way up. I mean, I'd like to be on like 95% by the end of the season, but we'll see how the season goes. Now into the braking zone, we tried to get past Grosjean a few laps to go. Not going to be a good overtaking opportunity there. As it was also just me trying to get out the spray there, because you can see the wet weather conditions in this game really are visually much tougher because there's so much more rain on the screen. It's much tougher to see where you're going. I can see I'm trying to get Jeff to tell me a little bit about this race. Is the rain going to stop? Are we going to go on to Inters? And what are the cars around me doing? So I was interested to know. Mostly everyone was on the same strategy me here today. But in terms of the rain, it wasn't going to go away, unfortunately. It looks like we're going to have to struggle with this for the rest of this race, which is a bit annoying because I'm not the greatest in the wet weather conditions, but we'll have to learn to live with it. Now, onto the backs of Max Verstappen here, and we're going to use, I think, a bit of rich fuel mix here. Remember correctly? Yes, we do. So a bit of rich fuel mix here, right up behind Max Verstappen. We should get past him here. We've had a great run of Verstappen and his Red Bull, going down the inside, the same place we got past Grosjean. And another overtake there. Awesome stuff. This time we do make the next corner as well. I really was happy with this overtake here. Verstappen, he did a bit more of a defensive job than Grosjean did, but he still couldn't stop me getting past. The Williams is a really good car in a straight line, and you can see here from Max Verstappen's on board. He does a good job, and then he sort of jinxed right. There wasn't any contact there between the two of us there, but he sort of just let me go through there. Well, I've got to say, Verstappen's helmet is actually really cool as well. I don't see it too much in real life. You don't see it at that angle, but very cool helmet design from Max Verstappen there. Anyway, we're going on board here on the last lap of this race. You might notice, where's the HUD gone? Unfortunately, my recording software sort of bugged up a little bit in the race here, so I had to stop recording. I recorded this last lap in the replay camera here to make sure that it's not jittery and freezing all the time. Hopefully you guys understand. It doesn't really make a massive difference to the gameplay, but just in case you think it's a replay or anything, this isn't a replay. This is the last lap of this race here. I'm trying to challenge Lance Stroll here for P6. I mean, what an incredible opening race this would be if we get P6 away from Lance Stroll here. Are we going to be quick enough down the second part of the lap here, right up in the slipstream? But we're not really close enough, to be fair. We're also having to manage our fuel as well, because right now we're really struggling close to the 0.0 where you need to finish the race on through the fast right-hander. Well, it would be in the dry conditions. In the wet, not so much. Into the penultimate corner. Are we going to go for an overtake? I mean, we could have lunged it down the inside there, but I didn't want to risk it. There was a bit of contact. The Stroll was so slow out the corner, but I didn't want to risk it too much. I mean, I probably could have lunged it, and I probably would have lunged it. It wasn't my teammate there, but it's the way the race goes, and unfortunately you can't get all the overtakes in you want. But I think that's a really exciting race there. Some legit good racing with the AI, which is exactly what we wanted to see in this game. And in general, it's just more fun. I think that's something massive that some racing games miss. It's just the fun level, the enjoyment level. And quite a lot of racing games don't have it, and this game just is fun. Racing against the AI is just much better than previous years, so you got to congratulate Codemasters. They've done a really good job here, and all the resource points flying in. It's been important to see how this continues. Might try and do some improvements in the next episode. Maybe you guys can recommend in the comment section down below which parts of the Williams car you'd like to see improved. But there we go, rivalry update. It's 3-all, but apparently he's winning 5-3. Must have been because of quali. Anyway, I think somebody's got to say something here, mate.
Is this the one?
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars, per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral Gs, you know? The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. That's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation. I'll see you at the track.
Now, just like to step into my office.
Naughty. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to try some classic cars here to round off the episode here. And which one are we going to go for? Well, it's actually going to be the Pursuit at Japan Short in the 2006 Renault. I always can get confused with it's 05 or 06, but I'm pretty sure it's 06. So you can see here, basically cars starting off at different points here. We're going to be starting off in 3, 2, 1, and yo, there we go. There's a bit of a long hold there on the line. It's a bit unfair, mate. Anyway, down to the first corner. You can just see we're going to try and catch these guys and overtake them, try and get to first place before the end of this race here. But as this car is so different to the car I was just driving, it did sort of throw me off a little bit, and I was struggling here, especially on this first lap of the race here. But by the last lap of the race, we were starting to gain on them here. Are we going to get past this classic Williams here, the 92 Williams? Where's going to be the best place to overtake him? Round the outside here, not really conventional overtaking opportunity, but we're in a much better car like we are. We should get those overtakes done. Now, can we get these guys? I mean, the first place guys quite far ahead, but we might be able to get P2 here. A little slight mistake through there, slightly sliding. Put the power on, try and get around the outside here. No, the McLaren edges me out, gives me no room. And unfortunately, quite embarrassingly, we failed this first test of the career mode, but it's the way it goes sometimes. Not going to win them all. But anyway, guys, if you want to win that giveaway, please remember to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And also, just leave that comment down there and you will be involved in the giveaway. And the winner will be announced when we hit 50,000 subscribers. So that's it for the first episode of the career mode, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys did too. And I'll see you guys soon for more of this career mode. Goodbye.